What's up, you moneymakers and Mullen investors? Welcome back to the channel. Mullen was down 12.24% on Friday. Tomorrow, on September 5th, it's going to be very important for Mullen because that's when they are going to decide about Nasdaq compliance. Nasdaq is looking for Mullen to trade above and beyond $1 price point so that it can comply with Nasdaq's $1 minimum bid price rule requirement. Mullen Automative must close at or above $1 price point at least for 10 consecutive business days before September 5th. And tomorrow is September 5th, and you already know that tomorrow could be very volatile for Mullen. If you think about Friday, we're down about 12%. We are at 46 cents, so it's going to be challenging, and it's not going to be fulfilling compliance trigger for Nasdaq. If you take a look at 5 days, we were down 23%. 1 month, we are down 40, 55, 54%, right? All in all, so we are not seeing a possibility that Mullen can trade above and beyond $1 price point. So there could be a lot of volatility into the market tomorrow. The short sellers are going to play their game once again. So let's take a look at Mullen. Mullen short selling pressure is super high still on 1st of September, 57%. 53% on 31st of August. Now, all in all, if I'll get back to you on that September 5th, because we want to talk about the rules and requirements. There are a couple of things that can happen. What are the procedures for requesting, preparing for hearing, and what is the delisting? So all that kind of stuff we are going to talk about in this video. Watch the full video. Do hit the like button. We need 150 likes so we can share this information with more and more people. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and let's get into it. Mullen stock has 1 week to achieve the compliance, but in the meantime, there is another big question coming up. With Mullen Automative CEO respond to the Fox Business question, as you already know, there is a lawsuit going on, and they have been talking about what is going on with some of this big brokerage firm. David Michery and the chairman of Mullen Automative, they appeared making money with Charles Payne on Fox Business on Thursday, August 31st. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty hopeful that you have already watched the video. They discussed about the lawsuit against the large brokerage firms for the unlawful trading practices for companies' stock and other matters. You know that Mullen had share intel, who collected all this information, compiled, gave it back to Mullen, and they already have another law firm that Christian Attar that were interviewed by the host Charles Payne to discuss various matters, and notably Mullen's recent lawsuit against the large brokerage firm that includes TD Ameritrade. It also includes Charles Schwab. It includes National Financial Services, and they have been talking about how the stock got impacted. Now, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I a certified professional, so do your own due diligence. I'm definitely not a lawyer. So this is merely, I am compiling the information in the available public domain, and I would like to share this back with you. So there could be any material information as to what we come to know tomorrow as well, and this lawsuit can probably be a legit reason that Mullen can file the hearing within the Nasdaq committee. So there are possibilities, but that will be temporary possibilities. It's not going to be forever. They cannot really say that there is a lawsuit going on and we want to stay on Nasdaq, because that may or may not be really a legit reason for Nasdaq to keep the stock up into their brokerage platform. But let's talk about what happened. They were asked a question there was a question for CEO. Mullen CEO David Michery, appearance making money on Fox Business News at 2:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August 31st. Michery and Vas Christian of the law firm, they were interviewed by the host, and they discussed some of the matters, Mullen's recent lawsuit against large brokerage firms. I told you about TD Ameritrade, also Charles Schwab, National Financial Services, and other alleging that the broker dealers engaged in a scheme to manipulate the share price for the company's securities. Mullen hired the services of this particular law firm, Warsaw Bernstein LLP to file this lawsuit, and they have taken a number of measures to combat the illegal short selling activities to protect the retail investors. Now, what is going on is, you already know, on May the 4th, I believe, we had 1-for-25 reverse stock split, and that was number one step that Mullen took to make sure that the stock trades about $1 price point. They had Nasdaq deficiency in terms of the compliance for $1 bid price rule requirement. After that, they got about $1, precisely $1.47 on May 4th that they were closed for, but they quickly dropped below $1 as you see on May 22nd. There was immense amount of short selling pressure. They did that once again. They started another reverse stock split, 1-for-9 this time around, to stay in compliance in various rules and requirements that Nasdaq has for any other stock. They were about $1 once again, as you see, 1, 2, 3. And on the fourth trading session on August 16th, they got below $1 price point. With that, they have also mentioned that there is naked short selling, some manipulation happening, and then there are with all that, the stock got impacted, and that's the lawsuit is all about. During the broadcast, the feed provided by Fox lost audio connection with us, and as a result, we did not have a chance to respond at the end of the segment. That's the CEO David Micheri mentioned. But Charles asked them a question: can you explain $31 million G&A per condensed consolidated statement of operations? Mullen responded that the condensed consolidated statements of operations contains both cash and non-cash expenditures. Now, remember, they have a little over $200 million cash on hand, which is, again, many people have been talking about how the company can sustain and what they're going to do. Of course, they have higher cash burning ratio. And they're not the only company, any EV company you think about early days in Tesla's early day when they did not really have much revenue. They were also struggling with the cash and the funding and how they were spending, so on and so forth. With that, the 3-month period ended June 30th. We incurred $7.8 million of non-cash expenses. And that includes $6.6 million non-cash charge for warrants provided by a particular company, $4.1 million stock compensation to employees and consultants, so that they were given bonuses and their stock-based compensation, the RSU units or whatever we want to call it, and $2.5 million in depreciation and amortization. Also, $5.4 million in increased working capital as we move into the production of the commercial vehicle. Pursuant to the condensed consolidated statements of cash flow, we spent $46.1 million in operating expenses compared to $53.9 million total operating expenses reported in the statement of operations. 3-month ending June 30th, 2023. So that's Q2 2023 operating activities, $46.1 million, investing activities, $10 million, and financing activities, $196.8 million. And they mention that if you compare this operating cash flow to our competitors, you'll see that we operate very efficiently, and that's Mullen. Mullen also has a strong balance sheet of $352 million in stockholders' equity, $560 million in assets, and total notes payable of only $7.3 million. And then they compared that Nikola reported $107.2 million operating cash flow, Workhorse reported $33.1 million, and Mullen used $46.1 million operating cash flow for the quarter ended June 30th, 2023. So all in all, tomorrow we are going to figure out whether they are getting decompliance or compliance notice, getting delisted, and what's next. Now, if that happens, you will see the stock pressures, and it goes volatile in the nature, the way it is trading. You already know that their average volume for Mullen is 276 million. Compared to that, Friday was 58.5 million. All in all, we are trading on the lower side, as you see, from 141 million. On August 30th, we went to 72 mil. went to 96 million, and Friday 57.4 million. Now with that, you also want to understand what happens if they get the delisting notice. They can potentially file for the procedure for requesting and preparing for the hearing. They need to provide, or they need to pay $20,000 fee, and this is the fees. Within 15 calendar days, the date of staffing delisted determination, the public letter or written denial of the listing initial application, the company must submit a hearing fee of $20,000. That's for Nasdaq. However, if the hearing request relates to a staff delisting determination dated or before February 10, 2023, the company must submit the hearing fee of $10,000. So we're looking at $20,000 for this particular use case, as you already know. What happens next? The procedure of requesting and preparing for hearing. So Mullen can potentially do that, and the reason could be there is a lawsuit pending, and then there were not so legit activities of buying and selling Mullen stock, especially when it comes to short selling. Timely request says delisting, company may within 7 calendar days of the date of staff delisting determination notice, public requirement or public reprimand letter or written denial of a listing application request, written or oral hearing before a hearing panel to review the staff's delisting determination. Now, in this case, this is not really going to be any technical reasons because the stock is already trading below $1 price points. We are at 46 cents. So they are going to come up with some of their, to strengthen their case, they can share the lawsuit that we have been talking about, especially this particular lawsuit with TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, and you name them, right? National Financial Services, so on and so forth. So they can come up with that, but that's not going to save them for a long period of time. They'll also come up with deficiency, how they're going to clarify and rectify this deficiency, and how they're going to start trading above $1 price point is also going to be the key. Timely request of a hearing will not stay the suspension of the securities from trading pending issuance of written panel decision. Then the staff delisting determination is related to one of the following deficiency. So with that, you also need to understand that Mullen as a company, regardless of their staying on Nasdaq or they become the OTC traded stock, it is going to remain the same company. They are going to be producing this EV vehicle that they are foreseeing them selling in upcoming quarters. So the company remains the same. All in all, the cash on hand is about $200 million plus, as I understand, based on their latest announcement or the PR. So the company has enough cash, at least for now, and then they'll be moving on with what they want to do. So June 2023, we saw that $308 million negative net cash income with the revenue of $308,000. This quarter, we may expect that they might be getting more revenue, which is going to work in win-win, in benefit of the company, because that means they'll have the cash from the revenue as well that they can employ back. So with that, all in all, I wanted to tell you that tomorrow is going to be pretty volatile. We need to watch out for the short selling pressure as well. The reason is, at the moment we start hearing about OTC, the short sellers may double down because they have been, for the most part, very strong, pretty close to 60%. We saw 58% on 25th of August. We saw 57, 57, 56, give or take 53 and 57%. So all in all, the problem is short selling, and they're working on getting that back into transparency, especially with this lawsuit. They are also trying, because they'll have to come up with, and they'll have to share Nasdaq what they're going to do to get back in compliance, which means how they will be able to trade above and beyond $1 price point. Reverse stock split is not an option really for Mullen, because they have executed or exercised their first time 25, second time 1-for-9 reverse stock split ratio, 9-for-1 reverse stock split ratio. So with all that, they are not really left with a ton when it comes to reverse stock split. So watch out for that. I just wanted to share all this information with you, hoping you can make informed financial decision. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a lawyer, nor I'm a certified professional. So always, as I mentioned to you, do your due diligence. But I also tell you to hit the like button. If you haven't already clicked the like button, and if you're still watching, that's your duty to hit the like button, and it will motivate me. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.